So everybody can unmute and please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tado Jayamudhiraye
Tato Jayamudhiraye
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavada Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtigim.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtikim.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18 and verse number 68. Repeat after me. Tatraivam sadikartaram
Tatraivam Sati Kartaram
Atmanam kevalam tuyaha
Atmanam Kevalam Tuyaha
Pashyadi agartha buddhidvan
Pashanta Krita Buddhi Tvam
Nasa pashyadi durmadihi
Nasa Pashyati Durmati
Tatraivam sadikartaram
Tatraivam Sati Kartaram
Atmanam kevalam tuyaha
Atmanam Kevalam Tuyaha
Pashyadi agartha buddhitvan
Pashati Akarta Buddhitvam
Nasa pashyadi durmadihi
Nasa Pashyati Durmati
Tatraivam sadikartaram
Tatraivam Sati Kartaram
Atmanam kevalam tuyaha
Atmanam Kevalam Tuyaha
Pashyadi agartha buddhitvan
Pashati Akarta Buddhitvam
Nasa pashyadi durmadihi.
Nasa Pashyati Durmati.
Please recite.
Tatraivam sati kartaram
Tatraivam
Sati
sadikartaram
Kartaram
Atmanam kevalam tuyaha
Atmanam
Atmanam
kevalam
Kevalam
tuyaha
Tuyaha
Pasyati akrata buddhitvan
Pashyati
Pashyadyakrita
Akrita
buddhitvam
Buddhitvam
Nasa pashyanti durmatiha
Nasa
Nasa
pashyadi
Pashyati
durmadiha.
Durmati.
Tatraivam sati kar. Go ahead, Mataji.
No, Mataji, go ahead.
Tatraivam sati kartaram
Tatraivam
Sati
sadikartaram
Kartaram
Atmanam kevalam tuyaha
Atmanam
Atmanam
kevalam
Kevalam
tuyaha
Tuyaha
Pashyati akrata buddhitvan
Pashyati
Pashyadyakrita
Akrita
buddhitvam
Buddhitvam
Nasa pasyati durmate
Nasa
Nasa
pashyadi
Pashyati
durmadihi.
Durmati Tatraiva Sati Kartaram
Tatraivam
Tatraivam sati
sadikartaram
kartaram
Atmanam Kevalam Tuyaha
Atmanam
Atmanam
kevalam
kevalam
tuyaha
tuyaha
Pashyati Akrita Buddhitvam
Pashyadati krita buddhitvan.
अकृतबुद्धित्वान्
न स पश्याति दुर्मतिः
Nasya
न
pashyadi
पश्यति
durmatihi.
दुर्मतिः
तत्रैवं सति कर्तारम्
Tathaivam
तथैवं
sadi
सति
kartaram.
कर्तारम्
आत्मानं केवलं तु यः
Atmanam
आत्मानं
kevalam
केवलं तु
tuyaha.
यः
पश्यत कृतबुद्धित्वान्
Pashyeda krita
पश्चादि
buddhitvan.
अकृतबुद्धित्वान्
बुद्धित्वान्
न स पश्यति दुर्मतिः
न
Nasha
सा
pashyadi
पश्यति
durmatihi.
दुर्मतिः
Anybody else? Okay, so we will go word by word meaning. Tatra, there, evam, thus, sadi, being, kartaram, the worker, atmanam, himself, kevalam, only, to, but, yeah, anyone who, pashyadi, sees, agrada buddhitva, due to unintelligence, na, never, sa, he, pashyadi, sees, gurmadihi, foolish. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय
Translation, please repeat after me. Therefore, one who knows himself,
Therefore, one who thinks himself
the only doer,
the only doer,
not considering the five factors,
not considering the five factors,
is certainly not very intelligent
is certainly not intelligent
and cannot see things as they are.
and cannot see things as they are.
Purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. A foolish person cannot understand that super soul is sitting as a friend within and conducting his actions. Although the material causes are the place, the worker, the endeavor, and the senses, the final cause is the Supreme, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should see not only the four material causes, but the Supreme efficient cause as well. One who does not see the Supreme thing himself to be the doer. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhudale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadadi Swapadandigam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yudabadagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanidam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Shri Vishakhanidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpadarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Padidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktum Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinamodidamastu Ma Vidushavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna dear devotees, thank you so much for joining today. We were going through this chapter. Chapter is titled as The Perfection of Renunciation of the Karma Sannyasa Yoga. So in this chapter, in the beginning of the chapter, Arjuna asked this question. Arjuna would like to know what is the sannyas and what is the tyaga, or the renunciation, or the renounced order of life. Sannyasa means the renounced order of life, and the renunciation is called tyaga. So in this chapter, Krishna is revealing that what is the sannyasa, or the renounced order of life, or the renunciation, or the tyaga. So in the first verse, Arjuna asking this question, and then rest onwards, Krishna is revealing the basic understanding of these two. So we were going through this chapter. Anybody knows what is the difference between the sannyasa and the tyaga? Anybody who were attending these classes before? Can anybody answer? What did you understand by sannyasa? What did you understand by the tyaga? Hello? Anybody? Please go ahead.
Prabhuji, sannyasa is like, whatever my understanding is, like giving up everything and like renouncing everything, like going to the jungle and then meditating, like sannyas. And the tyaga is when you are making the sacrifices for Krishna, the living your life, you're like with all responsibilities and everything, but doing all the austerities and everything with detachment. Is that?
Yeah, you're very
I don't
close.
know. That is you know, like that is not, that is okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't have everything in my.
That's okay.
But you're
Yeah,
doing your everyday, you're living your everyday life, but you're living it for Krishna, you know, like
exactly.
whatever austerities and everything you're doing, it is for Krishna you're doing it.
Yes.
You're not completely renouncing, giving up your responsibilities, your family life, your occupation and everything, but everything is going on simultaneously. So you're not a tyag nahi kare, aap completely tyag nahi kare, but whatever sacrifices and everything you're renouncing, it is like whatever, even like the pledge we take, you know, the vows we take, everything we are doing it for Krishna.
Krishna. Yes, that's the ultimate. You understood that what is exactly the sannyasa and the tyaga means everything for the service of the Lord without taking any ownership or proprietorship. So
yes,
here,
without any false pride, anything.
yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
Yes, exactly. So in the beginning itself, Krishna is revealing to Arjuna that the renouncing all the material activities based on the material desires. This is called sannyasa. So sometimes, yes, I mean, some little changes that. So people thinks that, okay, we just leave everything and going to the forest, put the saffron clothes and take a danda and then go and do nothing. That's not sannyasa. And then actually, okay, then anything comes up, we just completely, after 6 months, 1 year, we come back to our life and then thinking about ourselves and how can I enjoy, how can I put myself even into the renounced order of life. So that's not sannyasa, but Krishna is very clearly defining what is sannyasa. Sannyasa means giving up all the activities which is based on the material desires. So it's very important to understand, because this chapter is revealing to us what is the art of living. This is exactly the art of living. How we can live in Krishna consciousness, how we can live in union with Krishna. That's what is exactly all the understanding, all the essence of scriptures. So here Krishna is revealing sannyasa means giving up all the material activities. That doesn't mean that we should renounce everything. So that's where, Krishna is very beautifully explaining in this chapter. And Srila Prabhupada says that this is the conclusion of the knowledge. Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the beginning of the first verse of the purport. This is the conclusion of the Jnana Yoga. And we know that from the 13th chapter to 18th chapter is the Jnana Yoga section. And this is why Krishna is revealing this into the as a concluding part, because of this, the ultimate. And this is what is one has to know. That's why also 18th chapter is considered as the summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So ultimately, as Srila Prabhupada says that in the first chapter, the Dhyana Yoga or the Ashtanga Yoga, the Karma Yoga, all is actually culminating to one thing, to work for Krishna. That's the first chapter. That means even Ashtanga Yoga or the Karma Yoga, whatever the activities you perform, that should be considered, that should be performed to please the Supreme Lord. So there is a beautiful verse in the second chapter, and it says that karmanya vyadhigaraste ma bhaleshu kadachana ma karma bhala vedur bhur made sango sti akarmani. Is what it says, that you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So we are all entitled to do our duty. So sometimes what happens, we misunderstand all this. Says, I am the doer. That's where we are coming to. Krishna is revealing into this chapter very, very clearly. So then Krishna said that, yes, renouncing all the material activities based on the material desires. Like for an example, we say, okay, I'm going to the work so that I can get the money, so that I can enjoy, I can buy the car, I can buy so many, luxurious things, so many ways. Even if I get the money, okay, I'll go for, my own enjoyment, movies or whatever it is, and let me go to the luxurious hotel or restaurants, and let me go to this game and the Super Bowl or whatever it is, buy expensive things and go to different places. These are all based upon material desires. That means, what is material desires basically? Material desires means the sense of enjoyment. That means I can please my senses. So basically, we all know that, dear devotees, we are into these modes of material nature. Everything goes as per the modes of material nature. A person who are into this, more on the sensual enjoyment, he is considered as either in the mode of passion or the mode of ignorance. The results of the mode of passion or the ignorance is very severe, because of the mode of passion, which creates the bondage. Bondage means we are here, then life after life, we will be here in this material world, life after life. We may be a human in this life. Next birth, we may be scrolling on the ground. Maybe we will be somewhere in the water, as in the different living form, because of which creates immense sense desire to enjoy. Like we are so much eating sensual. And then what happened? That sense, specifically the sense of tongue, will be so prominent. So when we are so much, enjoying our eating just to satisfy our senses and whatever we eat, so such people can become like, an aquatic into the ocean. What is the prominent sense over there? It's just the tongue. So whatever it comes, it eats, likes that. So this is the results of a person in the mode of passion, or so much of endeavor and sense enjoyment. So he is basically living on with his senses. That means whatever it comes to his senses, he'll be so pleased and he'll be so happy. Anything other than which is not pleasing himself, he get angry. That's, we know that, right? The attachment he develops. The attachment, the lust arises and the anger arises. So many things which comes to us. So because of our ignorance, we don't know how to utilize this life, how to perform our activities, how to perform our all our whatever we have. Then we indulge, and we enter into so many abominable activities. So that is where the passion and the ignorance comes. So a person in the ignorance, that's where he is suffering and in distress. And because of, we know that the root cause of our suffering is ignorance. In this world, Srila Rupa Goswami says that in the beginning of, we are all Kleshagni. We are Klesha and Agni. We are all in the midst of this Agni, the distress of suffering. That's called Kleshagni. In so many ways. Why? Because of our ignorance. We don't know how to utilize his body, our senses, our mind and intelligence. We think that just to please our senses is the ultimate aim of the human life. So, but in this section, the concluding section of this perfection of renunciation, Krishna is revealing that what is the art of living, how we can live happily and with the full of joy. So that's where it comes to that. It's mentioned that a person in the mode of goodness, he'll be always in sense of happiness. He's always in the mood of happiness. But a person in the mode of passion and the ignorance, that means he has always anxiety. A person in the mode of passion is always in anxiety, always in worry, always, and the person in ignorance is always in distress and suffering. And that we can see it in this world. So that's why Krishna is revealing this very, very transcendental knowledge to Arjuna and so to us, that how a person should lead his life. That's why it is revealing here, Krishna, that what is meant by all. Arjuna was, little, of course, the 17th chapter, the division of faith, everything came to, concluding. So this final doubt, Arjuna has that what is this sannyasa or why, or what is this material activities and how one should perform his activities. That's where Krishna is, advising and instructing Arjuna that one should, whatever the material activities based on the desires that to enjoy our senses should be given up. We should not indulge any material activities which are based on our desire or sensual desire or selfish desire. And then Krishna is revealing that is whatever your fruits of your activities, all the renouncing all the fruit of our activities is called tyaga, or renouncing the fruits of the activities. So we know that these are the very important two factors, dear devotees, in our life. Very important factor. That in order to become peaceful and happy and situate in Krishna consciousness or pure consciousness, one has to check all this every time. Like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj says that when you get up in the morning, you should beat your mind with sandal, with chappal. When you go to bed, before that, you should beat your mind with the broom. The reason Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj mentioning, because of that, we are always endeavoring and eagering and hankering for this material activities, and that way we are, trying to satisfy our sensual desires. So what happens here? So when you check your mind, that's why he has to control the mind. A person is not control his mind. He's always in passion, and the person is always utilizing his mind and senses and the body. He's in ignorance. That's why it is considered as mentioned that the gross body, the mind, senses are superior to the gross body, and the mind is superior to the senses, and the intelligence is superior to the mind, and the soul is superior to even the intelligence. So a person who is intelligent, and he is always in the mode of goodness, that means he knows what to do, that is in the mode of goodness. A person in the mental state, always in the mental and utilizing his mind to and indulging in sensual activities, is in the mode of passion. And a person always utilizes his senses and the body, gross body, he is in the mode of ignorance. That's why a person always like eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. He was always thinking of how to I, beautify my body and how I can eat that one, this one. And some people ask that, if you don't eat, how you maintain your body? They don't know. So they are thinking that, just maintaining my body is the ultimate aim of my life. So they indulge in all these activities and eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. So such people are in the gross level, level, and then they utilize all their senses for all that's in the sensual level. So that is their prominent or primary activity. But they don't know beyond this gross and sensual, and we should control our mind in all respect. If we don't control our mind, as we know that the uncontrolled mind is like how there is no control over a horse. And wherever it, there is no control, there is no reins for a horse, it's not tied up, it can create such a havoc, it can go all the places and run around. And this is the way that we are leading our life every day without having this proper understanding. Rather, Krishna is revealing that whatever which is comes to the material desires and activities and the fruits of our action, that we think that I am the doer so that I can enjoy the fruits of it. So if I think that way, then what happens? We are creating a bondage with this material world. We are creating a bondage with our work. We are creating the karma because of anything which is we are utilizing for our own purpose is creating a karma that is either good or bad because of we are in the center, not the Krishna is in the center. So this is the three kinds of actions that we have always performed. So then Krishna is revealing that in order to come out of all this karma, the sinful reactions and sense of proprietorship and ownership, all those things should be, we should be, you should not indulge in any of, and we should free from all this or the fruits of our action. And whatever we do, we should always as an offering to Krishna. That's why Krishna is revealing that karmanya vadhigaraste. Also, yat karoshi yadasnashiyas yugosi dadasiyas. We know that. Whatever you are doing, whatever your activities you perform, whatever the charity you give away, all that as an offering to me, right? Krishna is revealing that. Then only that we can come out of the bondage of this all. Otherwise, it's create the bondage, and then we would be completely swayed away into this material ocean, the energy of this material energy. So in order to save ourselves, in order to rescue ourselves from this huge ocean of nescience, that means ignorance, the huge ocean of suffering or the material pool, that's what Krishna is revealing to us. So we should not be so much attached to this, material activities or the sense of I can enjoy the fruits of all whatever the activities I perform. So then Krishna further explains that, yes, then there is a question. Then Krishna says that all the material activities based on the material desire should be avoided. So here is a question, then what is all the material, anything that which we live in this world, somehow or other is connected to ourself or, our sense of proprietorship. So Krishna is again telling that to Arjuna that yes, all the activities, but there is three things that everybody should be performed. That means the act of sacrifice, the act of penance, and the act of charity. This should not be given up. Even though this is in the material platform, this should not be given up. Right? This should not be given up. And we went through that in great detail. The sacrifice. Sacrifice means yajna. Yajna means that means whatever, anything that which, and also yajna means another name of the Lord is yajna. Yajna, Purush or yajna. Yajna means, and another name of the Lord Vishnu is called yajna. So yajna means to satisfy the Lord Vishnu. So that's where this is the proper understanding. This is the translated understanding, or this is the concluding knowledge of this jnana yoga. To understand that why we have to do this. Krishna says even a great person can be purified by doing these activities of a sacrifice and a penance and the charity. So just even if you take in our day-to-day life, we know that we go through a lot of penances, we go through a lot of sacrifices, right? Just for an example, like, we get up in the morning. It's an act of penance because of we are offering our enjoyment or the very nice sleep in the morning, but we are just avoiding that. We're getting up in the morning, we chant the holy name, and this is also an act of sacrifice. We are sacrificing our happiness or nice bed and very comfortable, bed, and then we are sacrificing that. But then why we are sacrificing that? We have an understanding. We have an act of sacrifice in our life, where you have a duty, or that Krishna is revealing this as a prescribed duty. So nobody should avoid, or nobody should give up their prescribed duties. So that's where, Srila Prabhupada very nicely put that point. Anything that which reveals to us, or, as per the scriptural injunctions, is a prescribed duty. Anything which is given to us by the spiritual master, that in order to perform our devotional service is a prescribed duty. Anything which is revealed by sadhu, shastra, and guru is a prescribed duty. Anything which is underlying by the our varna and ashram is a prescribed duty. So don't think that only some few things are the prescribed duty. But even in the case of a varna and ashram, let's say this varna and ashram are all coming into the picture. Any varna we are, a brahmana has a duty, has a prescribed duty to lead the society and education, right? Brahma karma astikyam, cleanness and education, and all these are the prescribed duty. That should not be given up. The Kshatriya has a prescribed duty to protect his subjects and protect himself from the enemies and protect all the other people. It's a prescribed duty of a person. So anybody perform this prescribed duty, then what happens? He can purify himself and anything. That's why Krishna is revealing that. This is why this Krishna is calling this as a sacrifice. So anybody as a Kshatriya, there's a code of conduct. He has to perform. He has to well built, and he has to be very well, in the Astra Shastra Vidya has to be well versed with it. And at the same time, a Brahmana has to be well versed with the scriptural knowledge, so he can guide the society and he can tell what is good for others, what to perform, what to follow, and how one can. We know that the Chanakya Pandit is well famous, the Chanakya Pandit. Chanakya Pandit was advising the society in so many ways that how one can come out from this all material entanglement and situate in the God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. So this is the way. But otherwise, what happens with our own mental concoctions, what we do, we come up with. So that's what we can say in this world, like Ugra Karma or Kamya Karma. So many ways we can see or mention this world, because of they don't know what they're doing. So the world is on day by day that people does not even having a time even for thinking this. And everybody is so much indulged in so many material activities. That's why it is revealed here. Then what is the results of their own indulging in material activities? See that so many diseases, so many problems, calamities, so many sufferings, and there is no proper relationship in this, especially in this age of Kali. No proper relationship between the families, even husband and wife, even the children and the parents, even the parents to the children, even the family and the society, the neighbor. Everybody is the hatred and the enmity is growing day by day because of there is no sacrifice. We know that in the third chapter, Krishna is revealing that only by the sacrifice the demigods are pleased. When demigods are pleased, only then that there is a proper arrangement, management in this world. Only when the devatas are pleased, then only there will be a rain, and there is enough, necessities in this world, enough that they provide necessities of the human form of life. There is enough water. If there is no rain, there is no water. There is a drought. There are so many calamities, and we know that. So nowadays, what is happening in this world because of the lack of sacrifice? Because of the lack of sacrifice, the demigods are not pleased, and there are so many calamities and the problems that we can see it. As we all know that there are three kinds of calamities: Adi Devik, Adhyatmik, and Adi Bhautik. Adi Devik means the calamities, by the demigods, and Adi Bhautik means calamities by the natural calamities. And so the calamities, by the other people, Adi Bhautik. Adi Devik means the natural calamities and the problems. Now, Adhyatmik means we create our own problems. Whenever we situate ourselves, then we put ourselves in the center, we create all these problems our own because of the anarthas we create. Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Malsarya. This is growing day by day. So Krishna is revealing that in order to come out from all this, that so that any activity which performs that to be offered to Krishna, that's called sacrifice, not anything to ourselves. Everything, that any activity which you perform that is an offering to Krishna, that is called sacrifice. That's called yajna. And that's Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even mentioned Sankirtan yajna. Sankirtan means chanting the holy name is also an yajna, yajna to please the Lord, as an offering to the Lord. So like anything that, Varnasam Srishta, Kshatriya, Brahmana, there's also different kinds of sacrifices. So sacrifice, everybody, no matter what, everybody has to do this sacrifice. Otherwise, we are creating severe sin ourselves to the nature as well. So then selfish and all these sinful activities comes along. So then Krishna says that penance, one has to do the penance that should not be given up. Penance means that our own indulging ourselves into the act of the devotional service. Ultimately, the penance means the devotional service to the Supreme Lord. There is no better penance than that. So chanting of the holy name is also a penance. Ekadashi, taking fasting on the Ekadashi, is a penance. And not eating any meat or anything that, or killing, that's a penance. And talking Krishna is a penance. Not talking any nonsense is a penance. And controlling our mind and the senses and the body is a penance. Yes, we may see, we may go out, oh, there are very palatable dishes, and if sometimes people go for marriages and all, there are so many varieties of items. Immediately, people jump on it. But we need to know that we have to act for sacrifice or act of our penance, that which we do, that is in order to jump, that we have to discriminate. Yes, this is not offered to Krishna, I should not eat. But then even if there is a situation that if we are able to, we need to eat something, we would offer first to that, to the Krishna, and saying Om Tat Sat, and then we connect that eating as well with the Krishna, so that it purifies. So these things purifies even the great souls. That's what Krishna is revealing. Even these things will purify even the great souls. It should not be given up. And the charity. Why charity? Because of we have this ownership, sense of proprietorship, ownership, that if I do something, this is mine, me, myself. Is all this false ego, this ahangar is there, that I, me, myself, because of me in the center. And this is I did so that I have to enjoy. I went to work, so I have to enjoy. So I will not give any money to anybody else, because this is mine, my hard-earned money, my hard work. I will not give anything to anyone. This is to enjoy myself. But when we have this understanding, okay, let me give something for some good purpose, good cause. So then we are actually slowly coming out from our sense of ownership or proprietorship and self-centric activities, and coming out from the false. Okay, let me do something for others. That means this is also another way of sacrifice or a penance, or it's called charity, so that it's also purify a person. So come out from all these entanglements. So basically, dear devotees, is all happening because of our ignorance. Then we think that in the, that we are the doer. That's when the 14th words, Krishna is revealing that no, there are 5 factors, that any activities which include these 5 factors, that in order to have an action, the 5 factors are included. These 5 factors are known as the place of the action. And the second is the performer. The third one is actually the various senses. And the fourth one is the endeavor, or the desires to do the endeavor. And the fifth one is the super soul, the Deva. That's where Krishna is telling that. That is in the 14th verse. And the 15th verse, Krishna is mentioning, revealing that, yes, even a right or a wrong activity, these 5 factors are involved, even if for the right or the wrong. So Krishna is mentioned that these 5 factors, the place of the action, that means our body. So our body is necessary to have this action, right? A person performs this activity, that the body is needed, right? This gross body is there. So we use your hand, we use our mouth, we use your tongue, we use our ears, and everything that is part of it. Then there is a performer, that means our soul. The soul is the performer, that who from everything comes from that soul, or the desires of that, our desire or the settle, is come from through the soul, and soul passes this information to the settle. And basically it is covered by, the soul is covered by all these various kinds of desires. And so the performer that which perform this activity is actually the soul. The soul, is in the center, to as the cause of this of that's a five factor, the cause of this action. And then we know that the various senses, right? So in order to have the result or enjoy this, the senses needs to be there. So either good or bad, whatever it is, there is a central reflections for everything. That means that our senses are involved, everything, right? When I speak, my senses are involved, or the tongue is involved, or when I hear, my ears are involved. When I see something, my eyes are involved, and when I eat something, the tongue is involved. So these are involved in any of the activities. Then we come to our endeavor. That means our desire and the endeavor. Yes, let me get this one, let me work, let me go to the forest, let me do, and let me cut down this tree, let me do all these things. Our endeavor, our activity, our efforts. So that's also the another factor of all these activities. And then ultimately as the super soul. So here in this verse, and that's where we come to the 16th verse. Therefore, who thinks himself the only the doer, not considering the five factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. So we think that we are doing everything, right? As and just I, that means the false ego, that means the selfish, or the sense of the ownership, sense of I-ness, right? Myself and all. But a person does not see anything else. That's why Krishna is revealing here is there are five factors. And then we will see that in the next verse as well, that ultimately this is all coming from the Supreme Lord or Deva. That's where in this verse, then it's revealing that in the 14th verse, it's revealing that the Deva, the word, there is a word called Deva. Deva means the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, that's where we have to completely, everything comes from the Supreme Lord. As Krishna says, Sarvasya Chaham. To this, and I am seated in everyone's heart. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and the forgetfulness. Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto Madagas Madhurgyanam Abohanam Cha Vedescha Sarvam Ahameva Vedyo Vedandakrit Vedavit Eva Chaham. And essence of all the Vedas, I am to be known. I am to be known. Vedascha Sarvam Ahameva Vedyo. The essence of all the Veda, that's to I am to be known. And how that Krishna is revealing that I am to be known in this, all this, because of everything comes from Krishna. He is the cause of all the cause. That's Srila Prabhupada mentioned, the purport, an efficient cause. There is a material cause and there is an efficient cause in every aspects of related to Krishna. There is an efficient cause, and there is that's called the Naimittika and Pravartika. And material cause. Naimittika cause, the efficient cause. That means there may be a ultimate cause. We know that there is a Sarva Karana. That means the cause of all the causes. So the cause of all the cause, the ultimate cause is the Krishna, the Supreme Lord Himself. And then there is a material cause that is called the secondary cause, which we call it as. That is actually when it comes to the soul, the spirit soul. So we know that the Brahma is the secondary creator, but ultimately all that the potency of Brahma is coming from Krishna. So he is the efficient cause. So like that, even we cannot even move a blade of grass. That is also come from Krishna, but we are the secondary cause that with our hand that we get this, this we move the things. And not only there are other factors are involved into it, along with it. So that's the five factors. So ultimately, if we don't understand this, it's all come from Krishna. Then what happens? We are in ignorance. That's it. It is not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. So it's very important that how things are taking place in this world. That's why if we are not the proprietor, if we are not the owner of anything that we do, all we are supposed to do our prescribed duty, that the prescribed duty which is revealed to us. Like as a grihastha, a prescribed duty to take care of the family, and we should not be given up that. A husband take care of the family and wife and the children and the society. There is a bigger responsibility or the duty. That's a prescribed duty of a husband. A wife, prescribed duty take care of the husband and the family and the children and all the other whatever, and supports the husband. That's what it is. The duty of a wife. That's the prescribed duty of a wife. a prescribed duty of a father to take care of the children, or the prescribed duty of a children to take care of the parents. So prescribed duty of a teacher to teach properly the education, not like nowadays. The prescribed duty of anybody like Kshatriya to protect the subjects. These are called prescribed duty, which is revealed through the scriptures. So one should not give up. And then, but at the ultimately understanding this, that because of we are entitled to do our duty, that whatever is comes, the results, that has mentioned that karmanya vadikaraste ma bhaleshu kadajana, we are not entitled for the fruits of our action, but we are entitled for our only the duty, the prescribed duty, which is revealed to us, that what we're supposed to do. Then if we do that, then we are as an intelligent person, because otherwise, and then also on top of that, you have the understanding of that everything is actually tied to Krishna. Everything is actually, the cause is Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Then he is actually seated in our heart along with our Atma. As is mentioned that the Paramatma and the Jivatma is also, as a two birds sitting on a branch. The Paramatma is considered as, it's in the Upanishad mentioned that Paramatma is actually seeing every activities that the soul is doing, like a bird. On that same tree, on the same branch, these two birds are sitting. One is Jivatma. Jivatma is performing his activities. He is eating, he is flying, he is coming back. He is, all this eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, and all the activities he does. And then this Paramatma is just watching like that. But ultimately, all these things are coming from Paramatma. But because of our material condition, we forget that. So especially in this chapter, what Krishna is revealing to us, that we have eternal relationship. We are not independent in this world. So, but people think that we are independent so that I can act any way I want. But in reality, in real sense, in the real true knowledge, that we all have to understand that we are not independent in this world. We are eternally part and parcel of that Supreme Lord. We are eternally related with that Supreme. So in order to understand, in order to have this proper understanding, and so that we can always be in relationship with Krishna, so that we free from all this bondage and the karmic reactions and the suffering, and that because of the ignorance that we do all this. Otherwise, when we understand this very clearly, and the factor, because of there are 5 factors involved into it, and these 5 factors are actually also, we are not creating any of these 5 factors. We don't create our body. It's also, given to us. Any type of body which is given to us, we are not creating. We are not creating our senses, but we are developing our senses, whatever it is actually, what default we have. Then we create all these material activities, and we have creating the attachment to it. Then we entangle in this material world, like how a spider creates its own web. Like that, we create a web. We create a material web in this world because of our sensual desire, or it's called a free will. Free will means that we have an independency, like Krishna. Krishna is fully independent like that. Since we are part and parcel of Krishna, we also have this independent nature. Because of we have this independent nature, we act independently, but we are actually not supposed to act independently. Because of our ignorance, we act independently, but we are not supposed to act independently, but we are eternally related with Krishna, so that we have to act in Krishna conscious way. So as Krishna says that, and this is the pure consciousness, and one who has understanding this is all ultimate, is actually the super soul, the Paramatma, so that we have to sacrifice, we have to have penance, and we have to have the charity, so that it purifies us, and gradually we can develop to and our original consciousness. What is that original consciousness? Jivere Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. That we are ultimately the eternal part and parcel and the servants of the Supreme Lord. And one who situated in that platform, every activity which perform, that we always check that, yes, this is, my Super Lord, my Lord is actually given to us this. And that's why, any wrong activity or any good activity, we always see Krishna. And in the previous verses, Krishna is revealing that in that consciousness, one does not attach to whether wrong activity or the good activity. He always free from the results and the reactions of it activities. And one is free from the reactions of his activities, dear devotees. That's why we are actually called liberating or moksha from this material world. That's why Srila Rupa Goswami says that anasaktesya vishayan edarham upayunchade nirbande krishna sambande yukta vairagyam uchade. It's not that we just renounce everything, go to the forest and do nothing, and then after some time we just come back and then indulge in everything. Anasaktisya Vishyan, we should free from all these material, sensual disease and enjoyment. Anasakta Vishya, Vishya means material sense enjoyment. Anasakta, Asakti means our material attachment. Anasakti means that we're free from all this. Anasaktisya Vishyan, Yadarha Upayujyade, Nirbande Krishna Sambande, we should utilize everything for the service of the Lord. Everything that we have for the service of the Lord. Even our job, our beauty, our wealth, our tongue, our mind, our words, everything we should utilize to please the Lord, to service of the Lord. That's what it is called Yukta Vairagya. If you have something, you have the big bangla, but utilize for the service of the Lord. Maybe a car, utilize for the service, bring that car to the temple, bring other devotees to the temple, and all those things. It's very, very important. Very, very important that how do we live? That's called art of living. This is exactly called art of living. Otherwise, we are actually in a distressed conditions of life, entanglement. We are not really living. We are dying in this world. The real living is living with the bliss and the contents and the happiness. Otherwise, what are we doing here? We are just having all anarthas, all these problems, anxieties, worries, so many things. We are entangled. That is a sign of entanglement. Will not be. So it's very, very important that we understand these factors, that everything comes from Krishna, the Krishna Deva Netrena. Everything has the eyes of the Lord. Krishna is seeing everything. As Paramatma, he's seeing everything. He's the cause of all the causes. So it's very important that we are not only the sole proprietor of the doer. There are 5 factors, and on top of all these 5 factors, the super soul is the ultimate cause of all the causes. So let me stop here with this note, and thank you so much for joining today. And Hare Krishna. So are there any questions, any comments, concerns, reflections? Would you like to add anything? Please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, you're audible.
Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam, Prabhuji. It was very well explained, and the explanations given by you were very beautiful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the reflection. Thank you very much. Any questions anybody has? This is a very important topic of the renounced order of life and the Tyaga. Sometimes it's confused.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, you mentioned that the desires that comes from the soul. So is it that the soul, many a time like we want to have a bigger house, is that the mind or the soul that desire comes from?
Yeah, so this is the, yes, anything that any activity or anything that which comes from the, yes, our soul. I mean, that's our free choice or the free will of it, right? Yes. When we are ignorant, when we are under the spell of this Maya or the ignorance, so we always think about ourselves, right? That let me enjoy this way, let me enjoy that way, let me get this one, let me get that one, let me talk to that person, let me put down that person, let me glorify myself. It's all coming from that our free will, or that what we need to do. But there are 5 factors. These factors adds to that. Ultimately, the performer, or it's come from the soul is the our secondary, as I mentioned, that the secondary cause of that one. So we desire. Then what happened? Lord sanctions it. Just for an example, like a child, child desire, and for whatever, whether it is wrong or good, the father, what happens then, sanctions it, approves it, and fulfill it. So like that, we desire. Like just for an example, when a fire is covered by a smoke, covered by the ashes, it starts to create a smoke, right? The dark cloud, the smoke, like that. So when we are so much, our senses, mind, and intelligence are all covered by these all impurities, then what reflects? It reflects the same thing. So that way, like just for an example, a mirror is tinted with black or blue, some what is called a film. So what happens when it is reflects the lights from that mirror, which is tinted with this black film or the white or the yellow film or red film? What happens? It reflects that red light, right? We know that. So what is basically the soul is pure? Yes, soul is pure because of the influence of all this material, the mind, the senses, all this, because of the polluted one. So what happens is also starts to reflect. Ultimately, the reflection comes from the mirror, not from that the film. So the reflection is start to reflect that. So that's why we say we sometimes what we mixed with these things. So basically, because of our impurities, that we which creates that it comes to us, and then we completely covered by it. That's why even we know that there is an example given by it. A person goes in the dark and he see a rock. So immediately his mind comes to that level of that, oh, this is a snake. But when its light comes and we know that this is a rope, it's not a snake. So it immediately comes to us so that we act accordingly. So because of our contamination and our mind senses, all is actually covered by this, then whatever it reflects from that, the original, then it also comes to that. That's a person mode of ignorance acts accordingly, passion acts accordingly, goodness act accordingly, like that. Yes, ultimately, this is coming from the soul, but then these factors are influencing those. That's why sometimes a person, we cannot tell a person who is so much in indulging in all these abominable activities, he does not even listen in these Krishna conscious activities. But somebody is purified, then what happens? He can understand. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that we have to clean our heart, Chedo Darpana Marchana, with chanting this word. So then when it cleans, then whatever is come from our soul will be also in the same way. Otherwise, it goes through these various factors, and then we would be in that mode of it. Did it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. So mainly like the three modes of material nature also acts on it, and
Yes.
depending upon the person on what mode he is, so that like it reflects depending upon that.
It reflects depending upon that. So like always remember this, like a glass is tinted with a film of whatever it is. So what the color comes out is similarly that. But it's clean, it's pure, it's pure. That's called pure consciousness. That's why Srila Prabhupada say Krishna consciousness. Now our consciousness is contaminated. Our consciousness is filled with so much of anarthas, impurities, material desires, everything. So you have to, then what happens when it comes to anything comes, it comes through that. So when it comes through a light like that, then it has that reflex. So that's why, when we have, okay, let me enjoy this. When I see a good, beautiful house, wow, beautiful house. I don't have it. Let me enjoy this. Let me endeavor for it. Yeah, Lord sanctions it. Then what happens? Yeah, then let me enjoy. Then we are entangled more and more. But we are not understanding the reality. But my life, this soul is very pure, but I pollute it somehow, with the long millions of lifetime. So now this is the time, yes, understanding this, all these factors are involved, so that, now ultimately the Supreme Lord, the Super Lord, everything comes from him. I'm completely, should be conscious of that, rather than I'm conscious of all these other factors and putting myself into all these ugra karma, the unnecessary endeavors, and I'm losing myself in this world. So that's why, it's all this wonderful knowledge Krishna is revealing to us, what a person's supposed to do, or an art of living.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Such a wonderful questions. Very nice. Yeah. Anybody else would like to add any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes,
that
please.
When we say sannyas, so like how do a person know that the person is ready for sannyas? That is like what I'm trying to ask is that suppose the person who buys, say, a Samsung Galaxy phone, and then after some time he regrets, oh, I should have gone for the iPhone. I know it's a very weird example, but like how to identify that the person is ready for a sannyas without any regrets? Like suppose a person goes for a sannyas and leaving everything and maybe ditching everything in life, then down the line 2.5 years the person is still in Maya. So like how to make sure that the person is ready for sannyas?
Yeah, I mean, it's before we come to that, like ready for sannyas, right? I mean, that readiness or ready for sannyas. I think let's understand a little more in deep, like what exactly the sannyasa means. That's what is Krishna is revealing here, right? My Guru Maharaj only says that I was hearing this. Sannyasa means kamam na nyasam sannyasam. That means a point of time where a person is free from all these material desires. Kama means unnecessary material desires. And one person does not have these unwanted, unnecessary material desires. And he then in that platform, he acts, lead his life. He's a sannyasi. Like just for an example, Srila Prabhupada says that there are so many sannyasis in ISKCONs, not that one who is in saffron. But we have so many examples of Jayananda Prabhu and so many devotees. They work outside. What they do, they work for Krishna. So their ultimate goal and the desire is to please Krishna. And my spiritual master, and just for an example, Jayananda Prabhu, who was very well educated, and he joined into the ISKCON. And then one day, there was scarcity of necessities of the life, the September, that there are not much things that they can serve to the community, the people, those who are coming to the temple. Jananda Prabhu came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, I would go and work outside and I bring the money so that this way that we can serve the temple and the people, those who are coming to the temple. Jananda Prabhu went outside and worked as a taxi driver, the cab driver, and he brings that money and gives to Srila Prabhupada. So basically, he is not working for himself, and he worked for Srila Prabhupada and Krishna so that to serve others. And he didn't even take a single penny out of it. And whatever is, temple, cook there, temple, he eats there and he sleeps there. And there are many other devotees like that. They work outside, they bring all this, their results, the fruits of their action, give to the Srila Prabhupada and, the temple. Srila Prabhupada said they are more than sannyasis because of they don't have any desire. They are not doing any activity, material activities. What is basically the material activity means? The activity which we try to satisfy our own senses, that's called material activities, or anything that which is for the material benefit. That means the benefit which I use for myself. So these are called material activities. But if you go to the job and we don't enjoy that, okay, oh, I get this one, I got this promotion so that I can control the people, I can do that, I can do this. Yes, we work for it, but by the mercy of the Lord, we get the money or we get the promotion and things like that. But we don't forget ourselves. Oh, I have this one, so I can misuse everything so that I can enjoy myself. So we get the money, we bring back to the home, we pay the mortgage, and we have temple or we have altar inside the home. We cook for the Lord, we bring everything for the Lord, not for our own, benefit or our own sensual enjoyment. And I remember that since our childhood, anything which we buy from outside, first we have to bring an offer to Krishna. Even a sandal, we bring it, we offer to Krishna. And then this was our from the beginning itself, that don't take anything which is not offered to Krishna first. And even if you touch anything with your feet and you beg for pardon, you touch and you touch on the head and beg for the forgiveness from the Lord. Don't touch anything and don't use harsh words, or we don't use our tongue for anything which is to please ourselves. And a person is in that mode, he's already a sannyasi. A sannyasi, that means he's completely free from all this material entanglement and he derives the great pleasure. A person who only eats the Krishna Prasad, he gets a great taste. I mean, we know that so many people in our temple and, whoever it is, and then once they started to eat the Krishna Prasad, then they don't like any other food outside. And they can see that what is the difference between that, the food he eats outside or the prasadam he eats. It has a great taste. That means it gives that great taste like that. So sannyasa means basically that whatever we are, our central, we put ourselves in the center of in all activities. But if you are understanding that I'm the eternal, I'm part, I'm the soul, I'm solely related with the Krishna. My activities all should be performed as per the as per in the will of the Lord, or the Krishna should be in the center of my life. If a person goes through that, he's a sannyasi. He does not need to go to the forest. He does not need to wear a saffron. He does not hold these, danda. He does not. One time, Nityananda Prabhu just broke the danda of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Prabhu asked, "Why you do need danda? You're already the Supreme Lord." He likes that. So this is what it is. So sannyasa means, that means, all avoiding all the material activities which is based on the material desires. So anybody like in Krishna consciousness, he took a vow, he took initiation that I would chant this, 16 round, I would no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, no coffee, no onion, no garlic, no tea, no anything like, no movies or sensual enjoyment, no this party, no this one, anything like that. But he is in that mode of, and now he has to go for, maybe he has a grihastha, he maybe has something, okay, sometimes birthday parties, marriages. But what we do, he is actually always seeing that, okay, this is an opportunity that I can propagate Krishna consciousness. I offer, whatever it is for the Krishna. So one who is, that's Sri Krishna Srila Prabhupada says that one who is in Krishna conscious always, he's a sannyasi. He does not go to any forest. So now the question is come, readiness, right? When we know a person is ready for sannyas, I mean, this is where the spiritual master or give the initiation, or spiritual master give the instruction. When we have this faith in the Lord, Adau Shraddha, then we come to the stage of sadhu sangha, then we come to the association of devotees, then bhajana kriya, we start to chant the holy name, then all the impurities are cleaned. Then we come to the stage of anartha nivritti. That means we are now not hankering, endeavoring for, so many things in the world. No, unnecessary attachment, unnecessary need or requirement, or the selfish desires for anything, or jealousy or envy of other people. And, oh, he has this, he has this, he has this, he has this. All these things. So these all anartha, the arrogance, and, not understanding, because when you come to the stage of our, what is that? Param Vijayade Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, by chanting of the holy name, when we come to that stage of that anartha nivritti, then we are pretty much into that stage. That means we are in the stage of a sannyasa. That means now we know that the importance of that putting ourselves in Krishna conscious and Krishna-centric activities, that rather than the self-centric. Up to this point, we were in the self-centric activity. That means we are always in the self. A person always in the self, even if he goes to the forest, this is called Markada Vairagya. A monkey renunciation, or called Smashana Vairagya. Smashana Vairagya means a person goes to the Smashan, or the crematory ground, and as soon as there is a dead body and he is there part of, and he says Ram Nam Satya Hai, Ram Nam Satya Hai, Ram Nam Satya Hai, Ram Nam, he is completely kind of renounced. The moment he come out from the Smashan, now he is indulged in, he is now completely into his own activity. So Sri Krishna says that in the 3rd chapter beginning, or in the 5th chapter beginning, that rather than going to the forest and does not do anything, but always thinking of his on the material and material desires, and he cannot even focus, rather than come to a karma who is acting as per the instructions or as per the will of the Lord, he is better than going to renounce, going to the forest, person going to the forest and do nothing. So that's why Srila Prabhupada gives this understanding, or Krishna is revealing this understanding, that when we utilize everything for the service of Krishna, everything, including our body, that Sri Krishna is revealing the sacrifice, penance, and charity, including our body, that if you utilize for the service of the Lord, including our family, everything, He's a sannyasi. There is no need of any further, he does not need to go anywhere. He's a sannyasi, already a sannyasi. So yeah, when we are ready, that means that's the point of time, and there is an artha nivritti. That means when we feel that Krishna also Chaitya Guru and other devotees and the spiritual master, then Krishna reveals that by the mercy of Krishna we get a guru, and by the mercy of a guru we get a Krishna. So by that time, Krishna will give that opportunity to have a guru, and then the mercy of Krishna, then by the instructions of guru, that then we can, if we completely want to renounce, that means I want to dedicate my body, dedicate my mind, dedicate my words completely for the service of the Lord. That's why some people take the sannyasa, or it's a stage, or the varna, right? The brahmacharya, gahastya, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. That means sannyasa means completely, and body, mind, and words, everything for the service of the Lord. And he takes that stage, the sannyasa stage, so that he's so determined. That means I don't want anything else but only Krishna. And in that case, that he sannyasi does the things, and he does also charity and penance and sacrifice, all he does, but for the sake of Krishna. So yes, so in that time, a spiritual master can reveal that you are ready for sannyasa or not. So we are not, one thing that we have to learn always when we are progressing in the path of Krishna consciousness, we have to always depend on the mercy of others, other senior devotees and Vaishnavas. We should not come up to a point that, oh, I am so ready, I can go something, because no, but we are all actually here in this world as a patient, as a sick person. So we need a doctor to diagnose our problems, right? A spiritual master, sadhu and shastra, especially a spiritual master, can diagnose what is our problem. We think that we are fine, like we are all like haunted by a ghost or a drunkard person in this world. Some way or other, we have this problem. We have this anarthas. We have this mental concoctions. We think that I'm fine, I'm perfect, I'm all right, I'm completely good. I don't need I don't need anybody's help. But that is the first thing that we are making. So we have to always think that, yes, I need to seek shelter of the devotees and the spiritual master, so that I can purify myself by their instruction, the guidance, and their mercy. So a spiritual master devotee can tell you that, yes, now when you have that the proper understanding by Krishna's mercy, you get a guru, spiritual master. Then also sannyasa diksha basically is actually not we do not take our own. There is a long way to go, especially in ISKCON. A person wants to take a sannyasa, he has to go through so many processes. It's not easy. Why? So many processes. That means they are checking, they're testing that this person is ready or not. Then they are ready only that many devotees, senior, even they were there for 50 years in this ISKCON, they have to wait. They have to wait for a proper time for that. Because so then they see that this person is ready, then only they give the initiation, sannyasa initiation, basically, sannyasa diksha. So the question is, when we are ready, that which is actually, that's the mercy of Krishna and a guru. Then we come to know that, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very well explained. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Because there was a very big misconception, I would say, at my end, that going to maybe leaving everything is taking sannyas. But yeah, what I understand, it's more of a iterative process, like having the mercy of a spiritual master, than doing work selflessly and gradually progressing, then you reach to that stage of sannyas. It's not just, otherwise it's markand vairagya. Very
Samarkand.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Samarkand, yes. Just go and that's not sannyas. It's just a show off, right? So we know that there are so many in this world, in the name of sannyasa, so many people, so many, what they do, they don't know what they're doing even, it's very pathetic situations. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Dear devotees, would like to add any other comments, concerns? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and Pranam.
Pranam, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, in 5 points that one thing is the doer, one thing is the body, place of action,
Body.
another, yeah, and one is the senses.
Yeah.
How can we differentiate, Prabhu, on these two?
The body and the senses.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. I mean, there are, see, we have all these five factors. Even there is, we have body, we have senses, we have mind, we have intelligence, right? All this, right? So when we, the factor of the senses, like just for an example, uh, like just for, there is a food is there, right? Or just for an example, many times we have this like mouth watering, right? We heard this word mouth watering, right? The moment we see something like a food, very palatable food, moment we see it, we get water in our mouth, right? Do you experience that ever?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah. So where it's come from? It's come from our senses. So the senses incited what is called it's triggered, right? So that, yeah, it's just very, I mean, even we did not even know that. The moment we see that, we get water in our mouth. So like that, when we see something like very with our eyes, right? Maybe some beauty or maybe something, immediately we attach to that, right? It's attract to us like a magnet. How any iron attract to a magnet. So we attract to that. So then what happens? We forget everything. We forget. Now, till this point of time, I was so punya, so nice, so wonderful. The moment we see that with our senses, and we completely forget. Now we are a different, but now I need to fulfill that. So inside this desire, right? So it's inside that, okay, you pass the signals to the mind, okay? So then mind works accordingly. Mind passes to that, the information to the entire body and, things like that. So everything is now, even a little thing is all are independent. When senses, as soon as the senses is started to place, that's why the most of the all living entities are basically under the great spell of our senses. That's why, for example, is in the scripture gives that when there is a fire, that's for the insects, the sense of that sight is so powerful for that insects. Immediately it comes to the floor and jump into that, they die. Like a fish, the sense of their taste is so prominent. Anything that. So because of that, it's guide them. It's directs them with that because of the senses. As soon as there is a bait, there is a something to eat, they go and catch it. But that bait is actually that's a hook, and it kills themselves. So what happened? It started from that the prominence of their senses, like a musket deer. What happens? There is a deer. So people catches the deer. I mean, they're very prominent. Their hearing senses. So when there is a music, these deer just stand there and listen to that. So senses acts that, so it's placing them and stand there, then others captures them. Like for an elephant, a touch is a very prominent, like that. So how the elephant catches the elephant? So they send a she elephant to the male elephant. The she elephant go and touches this, and immediately the male elephant got, agitated and fall into the trap of that she elephant and bring that into a ditch. And then, elephant goes after these. So like that, so pretty much everybody is running after the senses in this world. And how that leads to all the other things, we know that, right? And sometimes what happens, that's in the senses, that the physical objects that which we do. Now we come to the mind. When we think something, right? We know that when we think something, just for an example, like a person thinking about a woman, right? Or some girlfriend or a lover, whatever it is, he changes. We know that the story of Villamangalam Thakur. Even at the crematorium of his father, he was thinking about this Chintamani. This is the mind. And that leads to all these various kinds of activities, the mind. And then, we know that the people, those who are mental and why they are so much suffering, because they are uncontrolled mind, and nowadays so many problems of which creates that. So mind which creates that, and that's why the endeavor goes, right? The endeavor which calls comes from the mind, and let me do this, let me do all this. He talked to me like that, I would talk back to that one, he that one. I see this one, how it's all interconnected each other. So yeah, so these are the factors of it, especially the senses, and how that body and the senses give the signals to the body, mind give the signals to the senses, senses give the signals to the body. Like, just for an example, I like this rasagula very much. I know that a person came to the temple and he said, "No, I'm not going to eat." This is very sure. He just went 10 steps, he went ahead, he came back, and he came back and looked at again. Should I take or not? He went back again. He came back again. He said, no, I should eat. See how that it leads to an activity, because of the senses gives that, when it's all these kinds of recollections and the vasana and the memory and all this, everything comes to in his mind. This is what it is, the settled body, how it works like that, slows and settled body. So it gives that, passes those information to the body, and body acts accordingly. And that's so many criminals, right? We know that in this world. So, why they are fighting each other? Just to satisfy their senses. That's it. Did I answer?
Got it. Yeah, got it, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And those example you give the Prabhus, that the Kuranga, Matanga, Patanga, Bringa. Yes, Prabhu?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
We are all in the trap of this. That's what is, the Maya affects the mind and the senses very much in this world. This affects our mind and our senses. So it's inside various activities accordingly. Then depends on our birth of, the modes, ignorance, passion, and goodness. And accordingly, it's like a fire, and it's ignite those fires like that. Then we fall into that trap of that Maya, that sense. So, this is all a trap, right? So, yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful question. Very good. Anything else? Anybody else would like to add? Okay. Okay. So then let's conclude then today's session. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. If there is nothing else, let's conclude. Okay. Okay. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining today. Let's thank all of you, and let's pay our obeisance to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarubhasya Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Vira Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Gaudi Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Guru Premanande. Hari.
Thank you, everybody. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.